It's time to dive into the crypto space. Which country will lead the world of crypto? You know, of course, you have now President Trump's administration really focusing on crypto, and that certainly gave a boost. We saw Bitcoin at new record highs earlier this week, hitting over 110,000. Dan Novius is with us, co-founder, CEO at Mode Mobile. A lot of folks are getting really excited. I mean, they have been really excited. We've heard some very bullish ideas on where Bitcoin could go. And now, what do you think this week? What are we seeing and saying?
Yes, Nicole. So yes, the last few years have really shaken up to be to this moment. You know, I really think that we're really entering a golden age for crypto, not just this week, but the next 4 years. You know, we've been in this industry for, those of us have been in crypto for the last 6 or so years, and it's been this kind of gray area. You don't really know exactly how the SEC is going to treat regulators. That's a big component for any industry to scale. And now we have an administration that has obviously shown their stance that they're going to be very pro crypto. And you can see some of the impacts that Donald Trump has already seen that by launching his own meme coin, launching a decentralized with World Liberty Fi. And so I think it's going to be a very, very interesting time. And it's possible that some of these things that we've been hearing as rumors and speculations, like the Bitcoin reserve backed by the US dollar, could actually come to fruition based on the things that we're starting to see. So I think we're just getting started. And that is some of the momentum that you're seeing in the crypto space over this past week, and definitely since his presidential win in November.
Yeah, first of all, is this your best moment yet for someone who's been following this for so long? Are you most excited now?
I mean, I actually remember being on this show about 5 or 6 years ago, and Bitcoin had just hit 10K. And, one of the things I said at that time is like, whether you trade this thing up or down in the near term, this is definitely an asset class that will continue to grow. And you should diversify at least 1% of your net wealth because Bitcoin is going to get to 100,000 eventually in the next 10 years. And so it's really interesting to see that happened actually much faster than we anticipated. And now you have these giants like, BlackRock, and they're pushing these ETFs, and you're seeing all these momentum in this industry. And I think the last real thing that we really needed in this space was really that kind of regulatory clarity, especially in the US, and US crypto companies have kind of really been operating in this ambiguous atmosphere of like, hey, is this compliant? Is this not compliant? And that's finally going to change. So I think that we're really going to see this catalyst. And, as a founder of a company, a tech company, we're always thinking, okay, what do I wish I know now if I can look back 5 years from now that, I started doing? And that's something that I've always been really thinking about ever since 2018 for our business. And I think every founder, every company really needs to think about that, not just any investor, of like how they're diversifying their portfolio, because we are starting on a really big trend here with this new administration.
All right, let's go to the videotape. Here it is. No, just kidding. But we believe you. And I know that you've been on the network over the years, so thank you for that. And so at this point now, what about the future here and Ethereum and meme coins? Is everything sort of fair game? Is there anything you're very wary of?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great question. So Ethereum is something that I think is here to stay. If you can see some of the cryptos that the World Liberty Fi, which is the Donald Trump decentralized project, that they bought a tremendous amount of Ethereum. The entire network is built on top of that. And so I think that there's a lot of cryptos here that have been here a while. When it comes to things like meme coins, I think it's really hard to speculate what's going to happen in the meme coin era. I think the best way to think about a meme coin is it's somewhat of like a action that you believe, or kind of like a cult, so like a club or a fraternity or a college. Think about it in that way. People are really joining into the community. There's not necessarily a financial backing into what a meme coin stands for. And so it's going to be interesting to see how the regulators regulate meme coins. And I think that that's something that all of us are really excited about. But really, there's usually a mission or something behind. Someone's trying to launch something with the Chinese Elon Musk, or someone going to space. I mean, I think that these are very kind of out there ideas. But things like Ethereum are in a bit different of a characteristics, where there's actually utility. There's tremendous amount of on-chain transactions, and Ethereum has been that number 2 player, and the vast majority of the network is still built around Ethereum. And so I would look at Bitcoin more like gold, and Ethereum as kind of like the tech rails behind a lot of crypto, and has been there as one of the oldest players in the space.
How quickly do you think we get to 150,000 on Bitcoin? And also, as we look at stablecoin, and you've had President Trump out there talking about making a reserve that's backed by U.S. dollars before other countries do that, so that the U.S. dollar actually remains very strong by doing this. So first, the 150,000, and then secondly, sort of promoting crypto and saving the U.S. dollar at the same time.
Yeah, so I think the 150,000 is very much something that we could see in the first half of this year. I think the moment that this is announced and they actually go after this reserve, that could actually be a catalyst where we may actually drastically surpass 200,000 or beyond. If you really think about the United States back in the 1970s was on this gold standard. And right now, we're losing the last few years, we've been losing a lot of momentum to the dollar with the growth of BRICS and all these various things that are coming. And if the US makes a move and puts in that money to own 5% of the overall Bitcoin, which, today Bitcoin is called a $2 trillion market. Gold is an 18, $19 trillion market. So we're talking about 1/10 of gold here today. And so to buy 5% of that supply is not a tremendous amount of money for the United States Reserve. But if that happens, it's going to create a catalyst on all these other countries that do not want to be left behind. And we're going to see a lot of the same things that shook up in the 1970s, 1960s, when the US were on that gold standard in Bitcoin. And that can have a massive impact in the US dollar, and there'll be a massive impact for the world. And that's why I think right now is a great time to still get in and then hold. Don't put in 100% of your net worth, but people should put in a decent amount of exposure, 1 to 10%, and see what's going to happen because, Trump administration has made it very clear that crypto is on the agenda along with AI, but it's much harder to invest in AI outside of the stocks that we see versus, crypto in that sense. So I do think it's a smart move today.
In 24 hours, I heard two high profile folks, including Ivanka Trump, with meme coins that were put out without their knowledge, fakes.
Yes.
Are we going to have to Google ourselves? Anybody who's in the public eye, are we all going to have to Google ourselves every single day to make sure there's no meme coin? I mean, you already have the imposters on Facebook and Instagram and all that, and now they're doing this with the meme. This is problematic, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was an issue with last week also with someone actually not knowing too much about the meme market, and then they promoted a TikTok fake meme coin and ended up being a scam. I mean, I think this is something that again we will need to create rules and regulations around because there were always going to be these imposters and scam coins, et cetera. And so there's a lot of education still needed in crypto, and that's why also the regulation is so important. But there are a lot of fake coins coming out. And typically, one of the things that happened when Donald Trump announced his meme coin, people didn't know if his account got hacked, right? Because if you recall, the SEC's account got hacked maybe 6 months or so ago. And so that held back a lot of people. But when people saw it was real, then it ended up going to a $70 billion FDV, and now it's retraced a bit. But I do think that independent here, these crypto coins are here to stay. And, it'll be really interesting to see what these memes become. But ultimately, the more someone follows someone else, that cult-like behavior, that community behavior, the more likely their meme coin will do well. And it's interesting to see kind of if this will be a craze, kind of like the NFT craze that we saw a few years ago, or if it'll be here to stay.
All right, great to see you. Thank you so much. Dan Novius of Mode Mobile, thank you.